Greetings, this is the Authenticast podcast. I'm your host, Dragon, and we are joined by one of our other main members, AJ and Jackal, here to bring you the news about the latest up to date, shenanigans that happen around the world, left and right, up and down. Unless you believe the earth is flat, that's up to you to decide. But here today, we are going to introduce ourselves, considering this is our very first podcast session. Again, this is Dragon reporting live from an anonymous location that won't be disclosed until further notice. And Jackal, care to introduce yourself?
So, I'm Jackal, I'm a co-host of the Authenticast, and where my location will also remain anonymous, NSA.
All right, and next to him, we got AJ. AJ, care to introduce yourself as well?
Yo, what is good? It's AJ. My location will not be shown to the public, or even it would just never be known. Let's just be honest. Anyways, bro, let's just get this started, bro. What we got going on today?
All right, so here tonight we have a set of seven topics. Originally, we had more that we planned to discuss, but unfortunately, our original goal was to have more than three members talk about very specific topics that I'm pretty sure were tailor made for them specifically. And until they are able to join us in our next upcoming podcast on Friday the 15th, I think. The 15th? Yeah. Until the 15th, we are going to reserve those topics until then. But for now, we are just going to stick with what we got so far. And for starters, one of the most recent and most scandalous sets of news that we have acquired, Delta flight forced an emergency landing after a passenger had diarrhea all the way through plane. The pilot, quote unquote, said. And to further specify upon what exactly happened, Delta Flight 194 was on its way from Atlanta to Barcelona Friday evening. The group left Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International a little before 8:30 at night, and the pilot said it's just a biohazard issue. We've had a passenger who had diarrhea all throughout the airplane, so they want us to come back to Atlanta. Now, granted, we haven't specifically looked into any extra specifications regarding the matter, with the exception of some leaked footage that, not leaked footage, but leaked audio that popped up from within inside the plane, which we will provide.
A biohazard issue. We've had a passenger who had diarrhea all the way through the airplane, so they want us to come back to Atlanta.
From the way he was trying to describe the ongoing situation, it's almost like the passenger pretty much splattered all over the seats, and not just the seats, but all over the passengers, either sitting next to him, behind him, wherever. And if it was this bad, then no reason to deny the fact that a situation calls for flight to suddenly be canceled for the safety of others. But with that being said, any what do you guys have to say about this hilariously obnoxious story?
That it's hilariously obnoxious, and that diarrhea on a plane is considered a biohazard.
It goes without saying that it can't get any worse than that. If you really think about it, feces is a very dangerous weapon if used for the wrong reasons.
Monkeys do it all the time. Or, I'm sorry, I should say apes should do it all the time.
Yep. But with that being said, moving right along to our next topic, a bit of an even more, you know, obnoxious one than the first one. Um, a man in England had sex with a cow. Now, granted, I don't even think we can move past too much. Don't really have anything to say on this particular topic other than the fact that the man snuck into a farm in the middle of the night, and he just thought to himself and said, "Yep, someone's gotta do it. So someone's gotta do it, you know." But he was eventually discovered though when an alarm went off, which alerted the owner, um, who was probably like close by, and the most recent set of details surrounding this whole shenanigan was that a DNA sample was proved. A DNA sample proved that he did have intercourse with the animal, and it's pretty much all we got to say on that specific specific topic. It can't get any worse than that. Just some English some British guy just wanted to do it. Just needed to suit his needs.
Man, where to start? Besides the fact that the man raped a cow,
Yeah, without consent even.
How is the cow supposed to consent?
I don't know. A nod would probably suffice.
England, man. I don't. I've been there once, but I don't think I want to go back there ever again.
Elaborate.
I love being an American, okay? I don't care how bad things are going. I love being American, okay? But if the English are, I mean, we do crazy stuff all the time, but I'm just not gonna go over there and see more crazy.
Yeah, me too. I'm as much as I love our traditional American values, we have to know, we have to acknowledge and figure out how far is going so far or too far. You know that's up for, like, us to decide, not just individually, but as a whole. Because sometimes uh the the overall perception of others, can also help, like, guide, you know, you know, us into making the right kind of decisions, or the most logical decisions, even. Because I mean, never in a million years, like, would I expect for, you know, for society to suddenly and casually turn to, having intercourse with animals on a daily basis. I mean,
That's always been a thing.
the world has gone to shit in some capacity. Not gonna lie, but
That's why we're here.
it can get a lot worse than this. And give it 30, 40 years, all the things that we once thought were out of the ordinary, or dare I say illegal, that might all be normal in 40 years, because the government is constantly messing up. They don't know what they're doing half the time. They're always, like, the people are always taking advantage of their liberties, or like how they what they think, should be allowed and shouldn't be allowed. It's more on that for further for another podcast session, by the way. But moving right along to our next topic. This one's going to be a quick one, considering it wouldn't be the first time we've seen something like this happen before, and there's been, even way worse situations in the past throughout the years. But apparently Kanye West, or should I say,
As a Kanye White.
I say way. But hey, that they should change his name to Kanye White. I wouldn't be surprised if he does that even. Kanye,
No, it's
Kanye
it's Ye, formerly known as Kanye West.
Kanye West, formerly known as Ye, was
No,
recently
it's
Kanye West.
Look,
it's backwards. It's Ye, formerly known as Kanye West.
Okay, all right. Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, was recently banned from a boat rental company. Uh, currently, uh, all we can say really is that you know there's been even way more situations than that. Like we probably already said a couple seconds ago. But seeing as how AJ probably knows more about this specific topic, care to provide some insight on the matter? Anything we should know?
Honestly, has always been a wild man. That ain't changed then. People still supported him. That ain't gonna change now. I mean, the man literally got caught, like, you know, going to work with his wife. I mean, and the worst part is, I mean, does anyone cares other than the company, other than the people that catch them? The company behind it? No, no, no one cares. Paparazzi's First of all, paparazzi is too damn nosy, bro. Let the man do what he wants to do in peace. Like, bro, you don't need to snap pictures of man's junk out, either with the woman's mouth on it or it's on the other end, whichever way. It don't matter. The point is that paparazzi need to chill with that. Let Kanye do what Kanye wants to do with his woman.
Yeah, I agree. Granted, all things considered, though, I still like Kanye, his music. Ever since he's, back in the old days, which is like what, 15, 16 years ago, probably even a little earlier than that, like close to 20 years, I should say. His music has always been great, especially back in the day. But it doesn't excuse the fact that the man's been up to like no good as of late, with the most for me specifically, like the most obvious like controversy that comes to mind was uh a very, I guess you could call like a recent news piece that you know popped up maybe about a couple months ago, not too long ago though, where he openly admitted that he idolizes Hitler apparently, and he loves Nazis, or he is a Nazi. Any anything you want to add to that, AJ?
Sorry, repeat that. I dozed off a little bit.
Oh, all right, all right.
he's just
So
he's just been
basically
magnified.
to narrow it down, in case anybody has been sleeping under a rock as of late, Kanye was recently subject to controversy, following him openly admitting that he idolizes Hitler, and he himself is a Nazi and loves Nazis. Anything you want to
Oh,
add to
that's
that?
that's just old. That's old news, bruh.
Yeah, that's
Honestly,
literally old news.
that is very very old news, bro. That is like not even last year. That's like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Honestly, my take on the matter is if Kanye wants to support Hitler, let the man support Hitler. I'm not saying I personally agree to the matter, but at the same time, he is his own person. He can do what he gotta do. I mean, at the end of the day, people are still supporting him. He's still making money. He still has his fame. He's still gonna drop well. It depends on what you think of his newer music, because honestly, you could argue it's not as good as the old days, but then again, I do think there are some good songs that he has dropped, but there are some bad songs that he's dropped as well. I mean, you can only make so much music
Yeah,
that turns out to be good. I mean, eventually you're gonna drop some bad songs. For
yeah.
example, like the Jesus is King album. Honestly, that's probably his most mid album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's about it.
it goes without saying that his music, you know, when it was at its peak was back in the 2000s. It was the peak era of Kanye music, and despite a couple good ones here and there that have been released, throughout the 2010s or even the 2020s, um, nothing's come close to being as good as what we got, almost 20 years ago, basically. And, should he ever, make his, what I would call his definitive comeback, that remains to be seen. But moving right along to the next topic, a very recent one, I should say. Baby Alien, who you might know as, yet as Yabdil Koto, has admitted that he is still a virgin at 23 years old. Um, believe AJ has more details regarding this specific piece of news, so I'm gonna let him narrow it down and see what we can, acquire, what kind of knowledge we can acquire from him regarding this story.
Oh, when it comes to the whole baby alien situation, oh boy, where do I begin? I mean, the whole thing is a joke. I mean, it's funny. I mean, the dude is was he really at 20? I thought he was 25 or something like that, but 23. I mean, it doesn't matter. The thing is, the whole virgin at like 20 plus. It's getting a bit rough out here. I mean, the dude. I mean, I could see why. I mean, he looks like he's a midget, and according to the comments, he apparently got a little pecker down there. According to the comments, I personally have never watched the tapes, but that's what I heard. I heard it's a little pecker down there.
Let's keep it that way.
It,
No need to watch anything, for the sake of, you know, of any extra
yeah,
details. Let's keep it at that.
yeah, no, thank you. I probably no, thank you. Maybe the Britney Renner run. I'm kidding. But anyways, yeah. But apparently, yeah, you know how the fan bus is. They get some girls that are willing to do it. And, they found two of them, bruh. There's two. So one of them, apparently, it looked like I don't know what she looked like. I don't know if she's doing it generally to just for content, for fame. I forgot who the girl is, but she looked like she a little into him. She feeling him. And then the other one, I think her name is like J Teen. I don't know if there's an actual. I don't know if they went through with the whole video, but I remember they showed like a preview where she literally said, "Oh, because she's a returning content creator. Let's just say that. She basically literally told him because he asked her basically, oh, what you been doing while you were all up in here? So she said, I've been on here having sex and eating niggas' ass. Well, not niggas, but like she said she be eating men's ass.
Jesus Christ.
And then he looked at her like, you been doing what? He's like, and then she was like, you want me to eat your ass? And then he like, oh hell no. And he basically looked like he got off the bus.
Wait.
Now I don't know if this,
I, I,
but
I don't want to interrupt it. I bet his voice was like, oh,
right,
no. Wasn't it
yeah,
kind
he was like, oh no. And then I don't know if they probably continue on with the video. I don't know if he actually toot that ass up and actually made her eat it out. But all I know is that I saw the preview and I thought it was funny.
Hmm. Well, not much we can really say moving forward regarding this subject either. I mean, only thing I can tell, I can really say to this guy, if he ever watches this video, you might want to get tested for any diseases, because who knows how many men you know this woman has probably come in contact with, in very specific places, I should say. But moving right along to our next topic, this one, I feel like it's specifically tailored made for comic book enthusiasts such as me and Dark Jackal. But if
Yeah.
AJ wants to provide some extra insight on this, specifically due to the comedic implications, then he's more than welcome to also provide some of his opinions on this. But earlier this week, um, on Twitter and other social media outlets as well, PlayStation and Insomnia Games have posted, uh, well, specifically on Twitter, they made a post where they make fun of, well, like, one of their Venom statues that comes included with the collector's edition of Insomniac's Spider-Man 2, which is set to debut on PlayStation 5 next month. Uh, so the easiest way I can narrow it down to is that they start the caption off with oh shoot, I can't even say it. I'm sorry. Hold on a second. The easiest way to narrow it down basically is that they start the caption off with something that goes along the lines as getting 19 inches of Venom by pre-ordering the collector's edition of Spider-Man 2 or something like that. It goes along the way of you know it goes along the lines of that kind of caption. It's totally out of place, and it went completely viral on Twitter you know after it was posted. A few people on the social media. Oh, before I go any further, just to avoid any confusion, there may be times where we refer to Twitter as X, just to get with the times, but there will be other times where we refer to X as Twitter to be more traditional, seeing as how the name was unnecessary. But back to the topic at hand. After the post went viral on Twitter, a couple of users went as far as to call the iconic villain "quote unquote" Daddy Venom, which was totally unexpected. You know, but
That hurt Daddy Venom? What?
yep, it's true. According to this news article from IGN, a couple users went as far as to call the main villain of Insomniac Spider-Man 2 "quote unquote" Daddy Venom, which is Jesus Christ. You know. Oh, so here's the caption.
19 inches of
Yeah, so here's the caption in verbatim. Treat yourself to nine. Oh, and this is from the United Kingdom PlayStation Twitter. It says, "Treat yourself to 19 inches of Venom and more with the Marvel Spider-Man 2 Collector's Edition. Hashtag Spider-Man 2 PS5." But yeah. Other than that, though, I don't know if we can add anything to this. But Jackal, if you also wanna add anything to this particular story, one crazy story coming from it would have already been bad enough as it is, from somebody who is promoting the game, like maybe somebody that is you commonly on Twitter most of the time, but from the people that made the game was kind of unexpected. And at the end of the day, the first thing that comes to mind upon reading such such caption is, well, they knew what they were doing. But anything you want to add to this, or what do you have to say, Jackal?
Well, all I'm gonna say is this. I've said this before. The English have a different kind of crazy, a different kind of mentality to them. So that's all I need to say about that. And so treating yourself to 19 inches of venom. I don't want to, and I don't think Spider-Man wants to.
Oh, man.
Because if that sizes.
Oh man. Also, AJ, I noticed that you were caught off guard by what one of the users on Twitter posted. So what do you have to say about this, considering it was completely unexpected?
I got nothing. What, I really got nothing. Like, what the fuck is? What the fuck? Uh,
Oh boy.
yeah, I'm just. I'm just not gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna let y'all handle this.
Probably
Cause
for the best.
honestly,
I mean, it
Yeah.
can't get any worse than that. But since
No,
we're on,
no, don't say that. Don't say that.
yeah,
That's a jinx.
let's not jinx it. We have an extra
might be
topic.
too late for that.
No, it's all good.
God
But
damn it.
since we're on the topic of Insomniac Spider-Man, we'll slightly have a change of pace in terms of our discussion. And 2 days ago was the fifth anniversary of the original 2018 game made by Insomniac. It almost feels like yesterday when many players around the world were getting ready for the midnight release day prior to get their hands on their copy of the game. Um, it is definitely one of the maybe not one of the best games of all time. Best game of its year for sure, because it was a Game of the Year nominee at the Game Awards. Ultimately, it lost to God of War 2018. But granted, it was still nominated nonetheless. And despite not winning the Game of the Year award, um, as it stands, the game is currently, if I'm not mistaken, the best-selling PlayStation 4 game of all time, with 20 million copies sold worldwide. Um, it's definitely outdid itself, throughout these last couple years. Not just in financially, but also in terms of quality. Insomniac Spider-Man is usually known by many people around as possibly like one of the best versions of Spider-Man ever. You know, in terms of modernizing the character and keeping him as close to the source material, and I guess generally maintaining any comic accuracy overall. So yeah, to this day, you know, game is and now and with the second game coming out, I'm pretty sure that sales went up a little these last couple months. So in case you haven't already done so, Spider-Man is the first Insomnia game is still available on PlayStation 4, and also available on PlayStation 5 digitally if you want to play the remastered version, which takes advantage of all the latest PS5 hardware, specifically improved FPS and ray tracing. Other than that, Insomniac Spider-Man 2 comes out on October 20th, exclusively on PlayStation 5, so be on the lookout for that. But moving along to our next topic, this one is kind of a rumor, I should say, but it's been reported quite often so for the last couple months, to the point that it might actually be true, unless nothing has been officially confirmed just yet. But apparently, Sam Raimi is again being rumored to direct um, Avengers: Secret Wars, the next Avengers movie following Avengers: The King Dynasty. Um, all I can say is that I'm all for it. Sam Raimi, he directed one of the best comic book movie trilogies of all time. The Spider-Man movies from the 2000s. The first two are considered iconic. The third movie, although it had its problems, it's considered okay for what it is. Um, Sam Raimi did, however, recently come back to direct Doctor Strange, which has been out for about a year and a half now. Yeah, close to like a year and a half. And although the movie performed good financially, it got okay reviews. One of the most notable aspects of the film that was pointed out was its good cinematography and I guess its style. It could have been better, but for what it's worth, it's an alright movie. Um, but yeah, back to the topic at hand. He is once again being rumored to direct Secret Wars, and Jackal, is there anything you want to add to this? Like, how do you feel about Sam Raimi, the director of the Spider-Man movies from back in the day, coming back to direct one of the biggest Marvel Cinematic Universe movies that are gonna be out in about hopefully 3 years from now, unless there are any delays involved.
What you have to understand is that Sam Raimi changed the game. He is the revolutionary who changed the aspect on how superhero movies are made for the modern era. This man created a franchise that nobody ever expected to land off the feet, but people copied off his style and tried to make it better. But the truth is, Sam Raimi, I've seen the Evil Dead franchise. I've seen the 3 Evil Dead movies. I've seen the Ash vs. the Evil Dead. I even see that both Evil Dead remakes. And for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, he kind of implemented some of the aspects of Evil Dead into that. Like for the cinematography's sake, yeah, he did that. But I really missing Professor Xavier. I really miss seeing him because he was like the dude. And now, if he does direct the next Avengers movie, the Secret Wars, as it stands, we will be opening ourselves up to maybe another financial success. If he can, I'm not saying he made mistakes in Multiverse of Madness. I'm just saying that maybe he can improve upon the movie, improve upon what he did, and try to do better. Because that's what he has done, and I hope he can do it again.
I agree as well. With all that, with, you know, with what you recently, just said, he is a well-respected director. He's proved that he can make, really great movies. Um, with Doctor Strange, though, it's an alright movie. One of the biggest complaints that came from the movie was that, the title of the movie, Multiverse of Madness, suggested that there was going to be more to it, compared to like, because like the thing is, there have been other movies that in these last couple of years that have explored, or in the comic book genre specifically, in the comic book genre, we have gotten better movies that explore the idea of the multiverse a lot better than a movie called Multiverse of Madness. Specifically, movies like No Way Home, which has been out for almost 2 years now, which is kind of crazy, I should say. Um, but for a movie that remains in its own universe but introduces characters from other movie universes, it pulled it off very well. It stayed consistent with the story that it wanted to tell. As it like the multiverse aspect isn't just there for show. Like, in a way it works because it helps move the plot along with its set of main characters. Like, it works for a reason. And of course, just 3 months ago, Spider-Verse 2, or in this case Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, completely changed the game again. It goes without saying, it is one of the probably one of the best animated movies of all time. The movie hasn't
Next to
even
Puss.
the movie hasn't even been out for a year, and it's already a complete 10 out of 10. It's that good. Granted, it took a while to get this movie, considering that the original film, which is also pretty even just as perfect on its own, has been out for almost 5 years now. And Spider Verse 2 is like the perfect example of like how to tell like the perfect multiverse story within the comic book genre. Uh, that same month, since we're on the topic of Spider Verse 2, um, in terms of its release date, of course, it debuted the same month as the Flash movie, which came out about 2 or 3 weeks after. I don't really have much to say about the movie other than it's probably like one of the worst things that ever came out of DC. It's disrespectful. Uh,
Well, well, sorry to cut you off, but it's been one of the worst movies ever since Green Lantern.
hmm It's almost
That's a
like,
little harsh.
wait. Before we go any further,
What?
AJ, you saying you liked Green Lantern 2011? with Ryan Reynolds.
No, but I do think it's a little harsh to say that it's hella trash.
No, it's bad, and its most notable feature that some would call like atrocious was its CGI back then. The green suit and all that, which by the way was parodied in the first Deadpool, I think, and again in Deadpool 2 in its mid or post credit scene where Daredevil. Did I say Daredevil? Jesus
Well,
Christ. No, Deadpool. I'm
where
sorry.
Deadpool,
Yeah,
where he
Deadpool.
went back in time and he tried to kill Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah,
He
who was
did kill
holding
Ryan Reynolds
he was
for looking at
holding the script to Green Lantern 2011. Man was like, God damn, that's beautiful. And Deadpool just fucking shoots him, you know, head on basically. And
square.
yeah, square. And he's all like, you're
And
welcome,
then
Canada. But no,
so
if
if
oh, sorry, man.
no, I've been cutting you off too much. So,
It's cool. But
but
yes.
he,
Oh man. It's a little hard. I'll go first. Yeah, just to get it out of the way for now.
yeah,
But
yeah, you go.
but yeah, if DC fans thought that Green Lantern 2011, at least maybe in its CGI department, was already bad enough as it is, they haven't seen shit basically because the Flash not only has really bad CGI that that the director apparently claimed that claimed that it actually made sense for some very dumb reason. I can't even remember why. He says that he said something about it, supposedly making sense or that it was necessary to look the way that it did. But no, it's just a poor excuse, And it's not just that the CGI looked bad. It was also the fact that the CGI was being utilized for the most wrong and offensive reasons. For starters, they I don't want to say they maybe used stock footage of Christopher Reeves Superman from the 1970s to 80s Superman movies, along with Supergirl, I should say, but it looks straight out of a PS2 game. They brought him back for like a quick cameo scene, even though the Christopher Reeve has been dead for almost 20 years. I think he died in either 2004 or 2005, I should say. So totally uncalled for. Um, I think they kind of did it with Adam West's Batman and Cesar Romero's Joker, and some other characters as well. I know they did a scene with Henry Cavill's Superman again, which was funny because prior to the Snyder Cut releasing in 2021, one of the biggest complaints from the theatrical cut of Justice League that we were, you know, you know that we got almost 6 years ago, the complaint was it's CGI because specifically around the mouth area because it looks so uncanny. And then next thing you know, fast forward to like a couple years from now, WB has not yet learned their lesson, and I don't know. It's the movie is just utter garbage, a complete disgrace to any DC fan out there. Completely, like I said, offensive to like past actors or people involved with any of the DC movies or any DC projects overall in throughout the decades. And all I can tell you right now is don't go watch it. And there's no point anyway because as some of you may have already heard, the Snyderverse, which the Flash movie is sort of part of, it's, I guess you could say, supposedly being, wiped off from existence now that DC and WB are trying to make way for their new movie universe, which is being helmed by James Gunn. And granted, we have not had any of his projects come out yet. It is quite early. Um, one of one of his main projects coming out is 2 years from now, I believe. He's working on a Superman movie called Superman Legacy, which will not be an origin story, and it'll focus on a time where he, I guess, is supposedly already an established hero, living among other heroes. More on that on further. More on that
On
for
another day.
another day, basically. Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah. In conclusion, don't watch The Flash. It's a shitty movie, probably like one of the worst I've ever seen. Uh,
And,
and that about
And you know
wraps.
what?
but you're talking about the new Flash movie?
Um, yeah. Have you seen it, AJ?
No, I haven't. I actually planned on seeing it
Don't
at some
good. Don't
point.
see it.
Maybe even. Um, well, probably. Maybe not. Maybe if I do see, it, I'll probably watch on soaps today or whatever.
Mm. Well,
Just the best thing you can do is just rewatch if you can, if you've ever seen it, Justice League Flashpoint Paradox, because that's ultimately a higher tier film.
yeah. So for any of you who are not comic book enthusiasts, Flashpoint Paradox, which is an animated movie that came out, I think almost a decade ago, I should say, is a
Yeah.
movie that's based on the Flashpoint storyline from DC Comics, to which the Flash movie that came out this year is loosely based on. And since we're on the topic of that, I should point out that originally, before Snyder's vision for the DC for the previous DC movie universe was scrapped, Reverse Flash was originally going to be revealed as that movie universe's main villain, or I guess you could say like the big reveal, so to speak. But unfortunately, fans, no, not fans, plans never went through. Obviously, James Gunn is in charge now, and he wants to do his own thing. Some actors are probably gonna come back. Others will be replaced with newer ones, with Superman already being casted, and I think maybe some other ones. I could be wrong though, but more on that for another day. Um, but yeah, overall though, don't go watch The Flash. It's if you want to see a real Flashpoint movie done justice, Flashpoint Paradox is your go-to. However, if you want to agonize yourself and just watch The Flash for your own wretched amusement, The Flash is available on HBO Max or simply Max um, right now. Um, Again, wouldn't recommend watching it, but if you want to treat yourself to a little pain, you know where to find it. And last but not least, moving on to our final topic, a quick one, I should say. We kind of partially don't think we kind of covered this one just yet, but Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight trilogy is coming back to theaters on September 16 for National Batman Day. Um, this one I'm looking forward to because the first two movies specifically, kind of just like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, that and the Christopher Nolan the Dark Knight trilogy, they're both considered again one of the best comic book movies of all time. Specifically, you know, again, uh, I've noticed a trend with trilogies is that the first two movies are always like the better one out of the trilogy, with the third movie either being good but not as good as the first two, or just not living up to expectations. In this case, you know, Sam Raimi Spider-Man 1 and 2 are considered iconic. 3, it's alright. In the case of Christopher Nolan, the same could be said. Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, masterpieces. The Dark Knight Rises, also pretty good on its own, but you know, due to a lot of like plenty of things that happen along the way of its development, like one, it begs the question if it could have been better. It's fine as it is. It is a really good movie, but seeing as how we are nearing the 1 hour mark, I think we might call it a day. Our
Yeah.
our next podcast session will be on September 15th, which should be on a Friday,
Hopefully.
and we will be joined by our extra members with some very comedic, dare I say, outlandish insight on some very interesting topics. More on that once we are ready to, reveal, you know, any extra, details surrounding what we have planned for the future. But other than that, I'm your host, Dragon, and this is Jackal and AJ. Uh, until next time on the Authenticast. And hasta la vista.